Well, happy holidays, everyone. Today it is Christmas 2024, and I thought, why not make a video with some of my Christmas-themed die-casts that I've collected over the years, and also some of which I just collected recently, including these M2 Castline 2-packs. They're Christmas ornaments with a really cool vehicle in each one of them. We're going to crack all this open and review everything on the table here, other than my 3 Texas Drive 'em Hot Wheel castings from 2009, still in their packaging. Those are just really festive, and it's just fun to look at them every once in a while, typically around Christmas time. And the rest that I have here from Greenlight, M2, and some of my other older castings from Johnny Lightning as well. We're going to take a look at some of that stuff and just have a Christmas-themed sort of die-cast review of all these really cool 1/64 scale vehicles. And so if you are watching this video around Christmas time, I hope you got what you wanted from Santa Claus, and if you didn't, of course, there's always some hunting to be done throughout the rest of the year to make sure you can find what you want, and there is plenty to collect out there. So let's get into a little video basically on talking about die-cast collecting and just a whole bunch of random stuff from some my favorite die-cast producers. Christmas-themed things for 2024. Now this is a 2009 release of the Holiday Rods Hot Wheels Texas Drive 'em. Absolutely love these. I've got one here of the blue on blue version, and then I've got 2 of the red on gold versions. One does not have the red line wheels. This one is the red line wheel version. And then there was a variation that of the same truck, same packaging, that doesn't have the red line wheel variations. Put the 2 side by side. It's kind of hard to tell, but there are 2 different wheel variations there. Oh goodness. And on the back, well, there was a bit of information about those. Festive time of year for Hot Wheels. And these are quite expensive to come across. Now, I know I spent quite a bit of money getting them back in the day, and I keep these in protective packs on the walls of my museum here in my Texas Drive 'em collection. So that's the only stuff here you're not going to see opened up today. I am quite excited to get all of these Christmas 2-pack ornament vehicles out of the extensive amount of plastic packaging and those plastic Christmas ornament balls. I don't actually have a tree set up. My parents have the Christmas tree set up, so I will be visiting them for Christmas later today. And although I could bring these and hang them on the tree, I will just go ahead and get them opened up for you. We've got the Dodge 2-pack. Some of my favorite trucks to collect. We've also got the Chevy 2-pack. Now these are single cab dualies. And the Buick Grand National 2-pack. Kind of hard to see with all the plastic. I also have 2 Buick Grand Nationals that I have never opened up and just recently acquired. Purchased those on eBay. So we're going to look at all of that. I've got some Santa Claus kind of Coca-Cola livery themed vehicles, mostly M2. I did bring out one Johnny Lightning Chevy van I thought was really cool. Most of the stuff I tried to limit to anything that had snowflakes on it that was Christmas themed packaging and came in some cases with Christmas trees. I think this one actually came with 2. So, you know, just some festive trucks to bring out of the collection. This little Ford A100 is also pretty, sorry, that's a Dodge A100. Also pretty cool. And then we've got the old Chevy Blazer here with the snow plow on it, very fitting. And what does it say? Of course, Coca-Cola, the real thing, a big sponsor of Christmas-themed events throughout the years. And that's why those 2 are often married together as part of the livery. Rounding out the bunch, a few Greenlights. Didn't want to leave Greenlight out of the out in the cold, so to speak, especially with the exclusive version of the Snow Chaser, 1984 Chevrolet K10 Scottsdale 4x4. I do have the clean version already in my collection, and now we have this kind of dusty, dirty version of the Snow Chaser. Very cool truck, hobby exclusive, so you will need to find a hobby dealer to buy those, as you will with many of these. United States Postal Service in the 67 Harvester Scout. Shout out to all the postal workers working very hard this time of year to get presents from Santa to you. And now we can actually say Canada Post workers as well, doing the same. which is great news. So, we've got some of my favorite castings here, the Cadillac Eldorado convertible. And we'll look at some of these. Just a quick peek at the packaging. This one has the soft top on it. Both 76 Cadillacs. Just meant to open those up. Kind of snowy white, so I figured why not. And without further ado, let's open up some Christmas ornaments for review. Starting with the Dodge Power Wagon 2-pack. Very nice collection of 2 exclusive vehicles. And of course, we've got this really large plastic packaging. Quite flexible. And I assume it has some sort of, plastic base in the bottom, but not the permanent type that you would keep normally. I've gone ahead and pre-cut at least one of the seals so we can get these trucks out. And they do tend to roll around. The rest of the packaging here is just, as you see it, it's basically just a shipper. So you can keep that if you really have room for all that. Otherwise, this is what you're after, is these Christmas ornaments. And the Christmas ornaments are openable, like a clamshell, I suppose, but you could also hang them. And that is pretty cool. That is very cool. So, both trucks are, I believe, the same truck, just in 2 different paint jobs. Let's see, how are we going to open these up? I think probably just a friction fit, but I'm not sure. So start with removing the cap. And I don't actually know how to open these. It appears that it will just be... Imagine these don't open easily. Seems to be some resistance. And in a few minutes, I'll figure out how to open these off camera. But first, let's just take a look. Got those trucks. Satin red on the one on the left, and satin blue for the Power Wagon on the right. There must be a way of opening these things up. The next 2-pack that we're going to look at is the Buicks. Buick Grand Nationals. And it is the same situation. Big empty piece of plastic. And 2 very nice Buick models in there. One in black, obviously, one in white. My first time seeing this casting in the Diecast Museum. While we're looking at those relatively quickly, I've also got this Miho exclusive, limited 5,500 pieces of the 87 Buick Regal Unlimited. So the same casting with some differences, of course, from the Grand National. And this is the lowered version. I believe it's lowered. So I've already got that pre-cut. We'll get that out in a second. And then we've got the Buick turbocharged 1987 Grand National Custom, also a Miho exclusive. Same number of pieces, 5,500 worldwide. Nothing on the back, and we're going to get that out also in a second. And off the base, we have one more Christmas 2-pack to look at before we get into opening up some other vehicles, including those Greenlights. And that is this Chevy Shell of the Future 2-pack. All right, some plastic bits coming out there. Same packaging pretty much all the way around. Now check these out. Really nice dually truck, opening hood on this model. We got 2 different shell paint jobs and livery. I can imagine a Christmas tree absolutely covered in these 2-packs. I'm not sure if there's others available as well, but that would be so neat to see. And I wish I could do that demonstration for you today, but it's just not going to happen. So we'll just have to look at all these trucks and cars as they are. So here is the situation. I have managed to open up 5 out of the 6. Some of them were very difficult to open up. Others, not so difficult. The Chevys were probably the medium difficulty, and it really involved just a squeezing of the ornament itself. after, of course, removing the top red piece. And then once it comes apart, this piece pops out from the top, and you're free to get your screwdriver in there and remove them from the base. That is if you're collecting these. The Buicks came apart the easiest and probably had the most flexible ornament enclosure. Now, these Dodges are extremely tough, and I was actually kind of wondering why they're more opaque looking. The plastic appears, even though it's not damaged or scuffed in any way, and clearly have not been displayed previously, it just seemed a little bit harder to see through them. And I think the reason why is because the ornament plastic might be slightly thicker, or they might have actually used more glue at the factory. So there was indeed some adhesive used around the seal here. It's very difficult to break. Obviously the most right at the chassis platform, where there's like 2 grooves that hold this thing together. And this I need extreme pressure basically to take this apart. I thought for sure I was going to break the ornament. I'm going to show you what's involved now, as this is the only one I've yet to be able to open. I've been pulling and pushing on it, and now I'm going to show you what I have to do to get this thing open, and maybe it will break. I don't know. At least I can get the truck out, because I want to put that in my display. So here we go. Really can't seem to break it just by pushing on the seam. So that's kind of what's involved. And it did not break the plastic, which is great, but that's how I am getting mine opened up. As it would turn out, these were not sold in 2024, at least not these particular models. These were originally sold in 2022. They may have been sold in 2023 as well, if there was any that went unsold. However, I find that highly unlikely. So it's quite possible that the eBay seller I bought these off of had them in storage for a while. Maybe they were indeed displayed on a Christmas tree at some point or another. There's a few things I need to do to get these beautiful models completely ready to display with you. I have to take this little piece off the bottom as well, which is 2 more screws. And that will, of course, reveal a very detailed drivetrain and chassis, which M2 is known for, especially on these 4-wheel drive off-road models. So there's a little bit of time-intensive stuff to do. I'm not sure if this one, yeah, it should have an opening hood. Such tight tolerances, though. It's hard to see that, but there you go. Got a semi-detailed, not terrifically detailed engine bay. The engine itself is actually quite well detailed. Hard to see all that. I mean, there's a radiator and hoses and air filter, but it's really nice that the hood closes so well. Very limited vehicles in real life. And of course, I don't think they came in this actual satin finish. But the truck with its decals is all very authentic and a specialty truck, to be sure. Okay, let's get the other one out of the package. And here it is. Same thing, opening hood. It's got those yellow wheels. And I'm going to go and get all of these vehicles off of their bases before we go any further with this review. All right, I've got everything off of their base platforms and out of the packaging. Those 2 Dodge Ornament trucks were 1979 Dodge 150 Macho Power Wagons. And then the Chevy dually trucks, well, those were 1974 Chevrolet Cheyenne Super 30s. And finally, the 2 Buick Grand Nationals were both 1987 models in black and white. And of course, we've got the 2 single packs here as well, both in black. One is like a pearlescent metallic black lowrider. The other is a drag race version Buick turbocharged with very unique wheels. Huge slicks on the bottom. All these Buicks have a plastic base, which was surprising to me. The lowrider, of course, has those different base for the thin axles at the back and thin tires. And what base do these cars have? It's just like a nominal similar base. So there might be 3 different bases. All appear to have basically the same engine with different levels of detail. The ornament cars have some silver accents on the engines, whereas the single packs from the Miho exclusives are just black. All of the hoods close really nicely. And the cars look fantastic. I'm very pleased with this model. Transparent quad headlights in the front. Very hard to achieve at such a fine detail, I have to say. Extremely well done. Quite impressed by that. The paint and these little side mirrors, so delicately glued on. These are not cast. These are actually little mirrors glued on. I see no residual glue. The wheels are terrific quality. Taillights are nice and straight with reverse lights properly painted. I mean, we've got trunk lid decorations so small I can't even read it. License plates, rear window decorations. Extremely nicely detailed interior, very well cast. Those thumbprints and fingerprints are mine, and they do come off very nicely. The paint is very nice on these cars. Huge quality on the M2 Castline models as of late. And I can say the same for Greenlight for the most part as we get into it. But yeah, I mean, just look at the paint on these cars. This one actually has a roll cage in there as well. I'm just seeing now, being a drag car. And just super nice. Chrome bumpers on the Buick Regal. Very similar cousin to the Grand National. And superb pinstriping. So we'll just put those down for now. Moving on over to the M2 Chevy Cheyenne Super 30s. Well, this model is prone to limited hood opening without it binding on the windshield and or firewall. There is a detailed engine under the hood, but that's all you're going to see. So we got this one here with the commercially painted white bumpers. Nice rolling vehicles. All of them are just fantastic. Very, very nice, especially considering that there's dual tires on the rear. Quite an improvement over the years. And plastic chassis on these as well. So the only one that has a bit of a struggle is the drag car with slicks. Now those slicks are always difficult, but they still do turn quite nice. The Power Wagons, those 79 Dodge 150 Power Wagons. Fantastic rolling trucks. Hoods open up nicely on them once you take the time and care to do it properly. Clear windows. There was a little bit of a scratch on the hood, unfortunately, on this one, but who's to say how that happened. Painted fog lights on the roll bar. And also transparent round headlights on this truck as well. And it appears I may have just dislodged the roll bar slightly. Just glued in there, but really good details. Considering the size of these vehicles, it's incredible. Metal chassis on these, which is standard. So that's the M2 trucks. I mean, we did take a quick look at the Coca-Cola version trucks, but those are old news. So let's concentrate on what is new. Over to the Snow Chaser by Greenlight. Fantastic model. No opening parts, mind you. But check out the realism on the dust and dirt. Very limited truck. It has a tonneau cover, that interesting rear, I don't know what you would call it, but quite interesting. Separately cast hood does not open. Good sturdy chassis. Die-cast metal. And this one's a roller as well. Information on the back of the Snow Chaser is somewhat interesting. Not typical for Greenlight to add a lot of information, but this 1984 Snow Chaser is known as one of the rarest pickups ever released by Chevrolet. Although the exact number of these trucks produced is unknown, it is estimated that only 2,500 were ever built. Limited pickup runs sold primarily in northern states and other wintry areas. Came stock with all-wheel drive and custom snow tires. So, very cool. As for the United States Postal truck, a 1967 Harvester Scout, the paint job speaks for itself. Great details. All metal. Removable roof. Good details on that as well. As you can see, U.S. mail. And a nicely detailed interior. Interestingly, a right-hand drive truck to better serve the mailboxes. A little bit of interesting information on United States Postal Service, starting in 1775. You could pause there if you want to read more about it. We got two more cars, and these are the Cadillacs. 1976 Cadillac Eldorado convertible. Really nice white walls. Check out the quality of white walls on this Greenlight car. Shiny, shiny metal base. And it is a roller. Very nice rolling cars from Greenlight. No exceptions to the Scout or even the Snow Chaser. Very good rolling cars. We also have a 76 Cadillac Eldorado convertible with the roof up. And as you can see, super nicely detailed. Painted headlights, detailed chrome grille, signal lights, and all of the rest. They do a fantastic job with paint on Greenlight models, in my opinion. Separately cast dashboard and two-tone interior make this car very cool. And a fast roller. I gotta slow that one down. Nice looking wheels on it and very detailed hubcaps. The first one without a roof is the end of an era exclusive. There's the actual car. On the back, got a bit of information about that if we get some of the reflection out of the way. And the one with a roof, that's this one right here. American Revolution Bicentennial, 1776 to 1976. So it's just a commemorative car. And quite a bit of stuff on the back here as well. So very cool. A commemorative car for the U.S. history as a nation, 1776 to 1976. And that is my collection I want to share with you guys on this Christmas day. I hope you enjoyed the foray. And if you're after any of these, or if you have them in your collection, that's great. But otherwise, happy hunting. And we will see you in the new year. Have a great New Year's as well.